الوطنية. بدون صوتك بيصمت الميكروفون. استمر في الاتصال، استمر في الكلام، لأنه لما يتكلم الشعب بتتنفس الديمقراطية.
In a land of challenges and change, one voice stands tall. iRadio. 8 stations in one voice, resilient and unwavering. From Juba to Wau, Malakal to Bor, Awil to Yambio, we reach over 5 million souls every day. And online, over 80 million voices around the world tune in to amplifying truth, defending freedom, and inspiring change. iRadio is more than a network. It is a backbone of hope, the voice of resilience, the strength of South Sudan. We are the voice that refuses to fade, the trust that endures, the power that unites. iRadio, your eye on South Sudan.
You tuned in and locked on to the eye of South Sudan, and it's a brand new dawn.
Welcome back again after the news with the La Suba memo, and we are still continuing here with the dawn. This is the second hour and the last hour, as well as we are heading towards the 8 o'clock. So in this second hour, we are going to look at the status of the legislation and the importance of the anti-GBV and the family bills that are supposed to come out and to be passed, so that cases of GBV and cases of family matters and issues within South Sudan are catered for. And we are blessed as we are also heading towards the celebration or commemoration of the International Women's Day. We are very happy to be in the studio this morning with 3 guests who will take us through this process, who will elaborate more on this. Where, first of all, we are glad to have Mr. Kaunda David, and he's the program manager for Amalna South Sudan, and this is the organization sponsoring this talk show. And then we have Zabib Musa Loro. She's the Executive Director for Women for Justice and Equality. And thirdly, we have Nunu Diana Allison. She's the Director General for the Ministry of Gender and Child Social Welfare, Central Equatoria State. Salam takum ya jama.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Okay, so it is a pleasure having you on board and having you this morning in the studio. So to begin with, maybe Kaunda, take us through the inclusive legal engagement of the project, Amalna South Sudan. Maybe first of all, tell us a little bit of profile about Amalna, which is in Arabic is our hope. So
yes,
yeah. So take us through the little bit of profile, and then we now see your engagement into this process of justice.
Yes, my name is Kaunda David, Program Manager Amalna South Sudan. I want to say Happy Women's Month and Happy Women's Week as we count down to the International Women's Day on the 8th of March this year. And Amalna South Sudan is a national NGO founded since 2016, and we are doing a lot of advocacy in regards to human rights. And also we do peace building, humanitarian response, but also we do empowerment for women and young people, among many other things that we do. So we were so caught up, with there was a nationwide GBV prevalence survey which was done here in South Sudan, and the report showed that South Sudan was accounting for the second highest prevalence case of GBV in the region in the East African region. And this was in March 2023. So I think the final report is out, and that was something that drew our attention to say that, how can we come in and support in addressing this issue that was raised. And then we put out a project called the Advancing Gender Justice Through Inclusive Legal Engagement, Agile Project, which is funded by the Lutheran World Federation, LWF South Sudan. So the project is having two objectives: to lobby and advocate for the finalization and passage of the anti-GBV bill and family bill to protect the rights of women and children, but also to increase awareness at the local and national levels on addressing issues of GBV that affect women and girls. So that is basically why the project.
Okay, thank you so much. Zabib, Director for Women for Justice and Equality. I believe your engagement has also been significant into realization of anti-GBV and the family bill as well, which is, I believe, it is not yet even exist. So to what extent you were engaged in this process, and maybe through the DG later on we'll hear where have we reached with this process.
Thank you very much, Michael, and good morning to our listeners out there. My name is Zabib Musaloro. I'm the Executive Director of Women for Justice and Equality, and also a civil society representative in the committee that is working on the family bill at the moment. So my involvement in this in these conversations is deep, as deep as sitting within the committee for the drafting of the family bill, and the same with the anti-GBV bill. I've been so much on the sidelines of pushing for the advancement for it to move from one step to the other. Yeah, and also the other side is the creation of awareness to communities, to fellow civil society, that we've got to support this bill, we've got to stand up. So my engagement is beyond just discussion, but also sitting at the table to see that the eyes of the people and the voices of the women is represented.
Now, can you tell us, to what extent now the process have reached, how much, in terms of percentage or in terms of engagement even with the stakeholders?
Thank you very much. And as Kaunda has said, that there's a lot that has been done in previously. But you see, most of the processes had to be restarted again. And last year, the committee was reinstated. So then we again went back onto the process of now looking at the zero draft that we had, discuss it among ourselves as the committee. And now it is, at this point, it is open for consultation. And consultations have started, with one that was done in December for different stakeholders.
Can I add something?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, I don't want to speak on behalf of the Ministry of Gender, and also I don't want to speak on behalf of the Ministry of Justice, but I was able, in our engagement with the project, we're able to engage the Undersecretary in our activities of the project. And just 2 days ago, I was with the Undersecretary, the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, in her office, and I also asked her where are we with these bills. So the anti-GBV bill is with the Ministry of Justice. It is for review and drafting before they will send it to the cabinet, and then from the cabinet it will then go to the parliament. Meanwhile, for the family bill, it is still the custodian of the bill now is the National Ministry of Gender, the Ministry of Gender, Child Social Welfare, and it is still the first draft. And like Zabib mentioned, the high-level steering committee on these two bills last year launched a nationwide consultations. So the family bill is at consultation level for citizens, for youth, women, all stakeholders to make inputs to the bill so that it is contextualized and it is also harmonized with the different marital cultures of our communities. Yes, since we have more than 64 tribes and we are talking of family bill. So it is at consultation level. Meanwhile, the anti-GBV bill is the one now at review and drafting level with the Ministry of Justice. So that is basically what I know about the two bills on where they are in terms of status. But one time we'll also invite them to come and speak to us.
Yes, so that we get all the details. Now, the DG is also here from Central Equatoria Ministry of Gender, Child and Social Welfare. What has been the role of the ministry in the Central Equatoria into this process, and whether you have a link with the national ministry, and tell us a little bit more about the status of especially the family bill.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm called Nunu Diana, the Director General of the State Ministry of Gender, Child and Social Welfare. First of all, I just want to thank Amalna for giving us this opportunity to speak to the audience of iRadio. The State Ministry of Gender, Child and Social Welfare operates under the Social Services Cluster, just an introduction, and aligns with the mandate of the National Ministry of Gender. So why I'm bringing this is because most of our activities and our programs aligns with the National Ministry of Gender, Child and Social Welfare. And also the State Ministry of Gender is tasked with implementing policies that are passed, maybe policies that are initiated by the National Ministry of Gender. So basically, our role is to implement policies. For instance, if the anti-GBV bill is passed and it is a law, it is the mandate of the State Ministry now to implement and ensure that citizens know what is in the content of the bill itself. So mainly what we do currently as a State Ministry of Gender is to inform the National Ministry of Gender about why it's important to enact laws that strengthen women's empowerment, laws that ensures women participate without any discrimination or intimidation. And this is because we are at the grassroots level. The State Ministry is at the grassroots level where we have touch base with different communities. We have programs and events that reaches out to the grassroots level. So mainly what we do currently as a State Ministry of Gender, maybe key achievements that we've done, we have the area of responsibility. This is at the state level, and the area of responsibility is specifically to strengthen coordination on response towards reducing instances of gender-based violence. And I think this coordination also informs the Take and Call committee that has been formed, why it's important to have these bills, because issues of gender-based violence at the state level are upsurging, and then also we want to know what kind of interventions can be able to support the women at the grassroots level. So that is one. And secondly, we also do capacity building, and we work with a number of national and development partners at the state level. Probably that is why we are at the center of implementing different policy frameworks at the state level. We operate with a number of national organizations, and these national organizations are to implement. In case the bills are passed, they are supposed to now go down to the grassroots level to ensure that people at the grassroots level, they know what they understand the importance of these these bills that are supposed to be passed. Yes.
Yeah, sorry to cut you short, but at times, like, I don't know how the justice system now is operating in the absence of these two bills. Like, if a common South Sudanese outside there might ask, what is the importance of these two bills that you're talking about, and what are some of the issues that are contained within these bills that with the Ministry of Justice and also with the Ministry of Gender as well. Yeah, and one of you can come in because it's a general term.
If I can start, then I leave to my colleagues. First of all, the importance of these bills. Where do we draw it from? The South Sudan government ratified the Maputo Protocol and the CEDAW, which is the Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. Now, having ratified these conventions, it means that the country need to align its laws to match, to shoot. For example, in the Maputo Protocol, it talks about marriageable age, and our constitution and our laws doesn't stipulate clearly marriageable age. But the Child Act says, and the constitution says, anyone below the age of 18 is a child. However, there is no clear provision on, like, this is the age for marriage, which has been, but yeah. Also, in people, there's also the issue of marital rape, which is not being clearly brought out in some of the laws. So Maputo Protocol also stipulates about the issues of marital rape, and these are things that can be addressed by having a domestic law. So, like, if we have anti-GBV bill and family bill, they may help in the domestication of these international or regional instruments. But the second is, these laws are very important to address issues like early and forced marriages that are happening. If you talk of the family bill, you know, the family is the basic unit of the society. And when you put families in order, which means our society is in order. If there is no law that governs this family, which is the first smallest institution, then the social status may not be very well. For example, issues of matrimonial rights. If a man and woman got married and they'd put money together and constructed a house, they bought a car together and all that, if they divorce, is there a law that guarantees them that this matrimonial property should be divided like this or divided like this? Now, if you marry and you break up, if you marry and you break up, the custody of the children, you know, we need these laws to help us address some of these gaps. That
falls under inheritance process. Now,
yes, so just coming in, I would say that we know that South Sudan is so much embedded into the cultures. And then the other thing that comes with culture is patriarchal. So in the absence of these two laws, we see that a lot of issues around family and a lot of issues around early marriage, inheritance, are actually handled in a very customary way. So, but the fact that South Sudan enacted the CEDAW and enacted the Maputo Protocol, these two regional and international frameworks are above whatever we are doing. So for the lack of awareness, our communities and our society do not know that if I go to court today and I have a marital issue, and we don't have these laws, I would tell Ministry of Justice or I will tell the High Court that I want my case to be handled with the Maputo Protocol.
Do people know that?
People don't know. So that's what I'm saying. People do not know. So, and because people do not know, we find that everything around family, around marriage, will be sent now to courts like the B Court. And if a rape case is handled at the GBV court, then you'll find that there is so much bureaucracy that comes around that case. Because then there is no regulation that this is what we have done now as a country. to domesticate these laws that we've signed. So for me, that is the issue that we have around implementation of this. And the Ministry of Gender and Ministry of Justice, these are human beings, right? And these are South Sudanese. We all come from societies, we come from cultures, we come from places.
Correct.
So then, even if we say that the Ministry of Justice, or you bring someone from the Ministry of Justice, which I know there are people who are also suffering from gender-based violence and all that, but because they know that there is nothing that will handle their issues, then they have the responsibility of now pushing so hard for these laws to be present. There is that responsibility that needs to come from the ministry.
I just wanted to add to the discussion. Besides the regional and international conventions and protocols, I think what we currently use as South Sudanese when bringing issues of GBV, issues of family, we have the penal code, and this is what we currently use in most of our court proceedings at the GBV court. And then we have the constitution itself, and then civil society are trying to come in to fill the gap within the constitution and have a standalone legal framework such as the anti-GBV bill and the family bill to be able to, arrest the cases, the upsurging cases of gender-based violence, issues of family. How do we resolve them? Because the constitution only gives articles, but then we need to look into those articles deeper and go into the nitty-gritties of how are families supposed to be guided within a specific framework. How is a woman supposed to be, handled within a community? How do we even ensure that a woman goes beyond her aspirations and become the person that she wants to be in a community? This should be guided in a standalone legal frameworks. Much as we speak about the Maputo Protocol and localizing them into these two legal frameworks, we also have the Constitution and the Penal Code that gives us the leverage to come up with standalone policies within South Sudan to protect and prevent issues of gender-based violence, issues of, family set up and all that.
شكرا جزيلا المستمعين الكرام. احنا مواصلين هنا في السكند اور بتاعت الدون شو، واحنا مبسوطين جدا انه احنا قاعد نتكلم عن قانون بتاع انتي جي بي في او بيلز، مشروع قانون بتاع انتي جي بي في، وبعدين قانون بتاع الاسره. القانون الاثنين دول هم طبعا لسه ما طلع، لكن الثلاثه نفر معانا في الاستديو ده كاوندا ديفيد هو بروجرام مانجر بتاع املنا ساوث السودان، وبرضه معانا الزبيب موسى لورو، هي المديرة التنفيذية بتاع برنامج بتاع Women for Justice and Equality. بعدك معانا نونو ديانا أليسون، هي مديرة عام وزارة الجندر والطفل والنوع في سنترال إكواتوريا ستيت أو الولايات الاستوائية الوسطى. خلونا نمشي لفاصل بسيط واحنا نجي راجعين عشان نواصل النقاش بتاعنا، ويمكن نشارك المستمعين كمان.
حكومتنا ومسؤولين المحلي ومنجهزين عشان بيساعدوا كان فيضانات كني تكون بدون خوف. تابي تكون كلامات الرسمية من حكومة وخطتكم أهمية لحياتكم. سوا سوا كده أنينا همي مجتمع تانينا. حرك هسا.
رسالة جاية من وزارة الموارد المائية والري في إطار البرنامج الإقليمي للتغلب على التغيير المناخي لشرق وجنوب إفريقيا بدعم من بنك الدولي.
Attention, attention, community. Malaria is dangerous, malaria kills, but malaria can be prevented. The Ministry of Health, UNICEF, and partners are bringing long-lasting treated mosquito nets to your homes through a door-to-door distribution campaign. These nets are for your protection. Remember, long-lasting mosquito nets are not for sale. They are free and clearly marked. Too many families receive mosquito nets but do not use them every night. Sleeping under a mosquito net every night protects children, pregnant mothers, and their unborn babies and parents from malaria. To keep your net effective, tie it up or fold it during the day, keeping your home tidy and your net in good condition so that it protects you for many years. Remember, do not wash your new net before sleeping under it. First hang it in the shade inside your house for at least 2 to 3 hours to air out the chemical. Wash your net only when it is dirty, not more than 3 times a year, and always dry nets away from direct sunlight, bushes, and fences. If you see anyone using the nets for fishing, farming, or selling, report immediately to your local leaders or health workers or call the toll-free number 6666. Protect your family, protect your children. Every night, sleep under a mosquito net. Clear bushes and remove stagnant water around your home where mosquitoes breed. Take your children for malaria vaccination as advised by health workers to strengthen their protection. Together, we can stop malaria. For more information, call the Ministry of Health toll-free number 6666. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from WHO, UNICEF, and partners.
Good morning, it's iRadio.
Welcome back from the short break, and we are still continuing here with the Dawn Show and talking about the anti-GBV bill and the family bill as well, and we have the guests here in the studio. We want to look at some of the challenges facing the process so far. I don't know whether I give the first chance to a committee member because because you are the direct person now involved in this process.
Yeah, thank you very much. And one of the biggest challenge I see is the limited resources from our own government. And that comes as we know that our government has not prioritized some of these things. Yeah? Government has its own priorities at the moment. So putting resources on matters that are really important to the protection of women is a challenge, meaning that even the work of these bills is not resourced. Like most of the time we are depending on the donors that will come and, favor us. So that makes it one of the biggest issue. And that will also tell us that there is a lack of political will that would really have influenced these bills ahead. And then there is an influence of there is a strong influence of customary laws and traditions. So South Sudan, by design, is a customary country, is a customary society. So most of these conversations, even in the committee when we are discussing certain things, you find that there are people who will frown because Zabib, who talks from the human rights perspective, is speaking about something, because then this family bill or the anti-GBV bill, the issues that are discussed in those bills are issues that really touch so much deeply in our cultures. So it looks like you're taking away powers from other people. For example, in the family bill, we have this provision that says resource sharing in marriage. A husband and a wife, if they got married and they worked on their property and they own their property. So if separation comes or divorce comes, you're going to share this 50-50 with your first wife. Yeah? And then the husband, yours now, the 50 that you have, and mine that is 50, mine remains 50. From your end, yours now becomes 100 with the next woman that you're marrying. So when you're separating with the other woman or you have issues, the 100 that you have is what you will be sharing with the other woman with her contribution as well, again another 50. So you again remain with 50 from the other woman. So yes, that is an article that we have in the bill. And that alone not many men, not men. There are no men in South Sudan.
It
that
sounds
really
uncomfortable
wants.
to
Yes,
many.
it sounds uncomfortable. And then the other thing is the definition of a family. You know, in our context, we have our own version of a family as African and as South Sudanese, right? That our families, we don't have unique families that this is a father and this is a mother alone. Usually we have extended families and we have all these people that have to be included in this. But also, it has to be an open. Yeah? Someone is telling you that, you know, you have to define a family as a union of a man and a woman. Yeah? But from a human rights perspective, it has to be a union of two mature adults. Yeah? With consent. So when you speak something like this
is an escape of reality.
It's not an escape of reality. It is inclusion. Making sure that you are including. So if we say that it's a husband and wife, man and woman, and if for me, I would challenge it even at a point. Because if you marry me, so I become your wife. Muzu, my girl wives. Right? So again, you will not be able to redefine it in your own way and say it is a union of a husband and wives.
And wives.
Okay, let's so the other challenge that I will add on is something to do with the draft bills, because this process has not just started, right? The process started way long time ago. But the problem that we are having is also attached to usually drafts getting stuck, you know, and in the process, either at the consultation or review stage. Most of us who have worked around the policies, we know that this is a huge challenge. For the anti-GBV bill, it has been in Ministry of Justice, not yesterday. It has been there for long. And also we saw that experience again with the Maputo Protocol, where even the protocol had to get lost somehow and all that. So usually our processes get stuck at the consultation and review stages and things disappear. And for the family bill, people have gone back again. It's because of the same challenge. And out. And
the ministry, as you're explaining, issue of the fund, shortage of fund, and also lack of political will, I've seen the DG also giving you an eye. Do you want to step in here?
Yeah, I think most of our challenges are similar because you see the Ministry of Gender in its functionality, it works like a national NGO, it works with women, because all the issues that she raised affects us as well. And working with the bigger community, it means that most of our challenges are the same. However, I just want to I want to give a number of challenges that might even face the consultations level. We've had conflict in different counties, in different states, and that will greatly affect at the consultation level, because we feel each and every woman, man, boy, girl should be able to have a say in these bills and also try to own the bills itself. So I think that is a very huge challenge. Even if we were to have the funds, as she said, it would still have a limitation in terms of going to the states and all that, because of access to different counties with the current conflict itself. And then we have challenges on the different cultures, because these bills are to unify all of us together as South Sudanese, and we know different people have their own different good cultures that have to be unified and even put into one generic document. So I think that will also be a challenge in the future, implementing the bills itself if it is passed into law. The different cultures might even clash and all that, because different people have different cultures and norms that guide their families. And then the upsurging cases of gender-based violence. You know, we've been speaking about the anti-GBV bill for many years. We've gone to communities, we've gone to different, we've had stakeholders engagements, but then
sorry,
it's okay. Yeah, but then you would see that we will still face a challenge in the face of us even discussing these crucial bills, we are registering and increasing GBV cases all over South Sudan, not only where I operate, but all over South Sudan. This means that people are not willing to change those harmful cultures, but we need to put more efforts. We need to put more efforts to ensure that such cases are reduced. Even if beyond the bill itself, the work has to start now, so that people understand why it's important to have those human rights stipulations within our communities. And then another challenge, I think this goes to different organizations that work in line with these two key bills. I think there has not been a concerted effort with different organizations to put, the strength and to push these bills harder. You'd see different organizations, like everybody wants to do their work differently,
an interest of,
and yes,
conflict of interest.
Yeah, conflict of interest, and each and everyone wants to shine as an organization. You see, so that is also a biggest challenge when we speak about pushing, for these bills to be enacted. Every organization wants to hold the bill as it is their own. It's their own, property and all that. And once we have those coordinated efforts, I am very sure that this bill would have gone a long time ago. Okay. And that is the reason why the National Ministry of Gender and the likes of Zabib came together and said, look, why is everybody having different versions of the family bill? Different organizations are having different versions of the bill, and then they are talking about the same thing. They are giving wrong information to the public. Today somebody comes to iRadio and speaks about the bill being in Parliament. The family bill is in Parliament. The family bill is somewhere else. It is with the Council of Ministers. They are not getting correct information, and because they are not working together with the line ministry in charge. So I think that is also going to be one of the biggest challenge that we might face in ensuring that these bills move to their last, I think, destination in a more,
Maybe something that hurts us also is the fact that a ministry like a Ministry of Gender, national, I don't know what happens a lot in the other states, but at the national level, you find that even the political changes that happen a lot. So every new minister that comes will come with their own bureaucracy. So bureaucracy of someone has never even heard about this bill. So you have to go back steps, like you go back many years to start educating this person. And yet someone has come with a very different ideology or what. So then that also creates a sluggishness within the ministry. Yet, as she said, if there were consulted efforts working together, and we say that we are giving this bill 1 year, and we want to see this bill go through within this period of time, I think the timeline thing is also missing. So then that will be important. That will be crucial, to put a timeline and also to work with someone that has understood us.
But now who has that authority or final say for this, giving a period of time and pushing finally for this bill to go through?
Let me come in. I think that enacting laws is not an event. That is something also you need to understand. Developing a policy or making a law is not an event. It's a process.
It's a process.
However, I want to say that one of the challenges is maybe we're not prioritizing these bills. Can we make them a priority? So I know government has...
That falls under lack of political will.
Yes. The prioritization. Okay, the government has many programs and priorities, but can you prioritize this one? Now, for me as a citizen, when we got our independence, the first law I wanted to see passed is family law. To put the families in order. And so that our society is in order. Now we have a country that is now more than 11 years since independence, and we don't have a family law, and yet we have families. So how do we put our families in order when we cannot put a domestic law like other countries have done? So there's an element of lack of prioritization of these bills. So these bills need to be prioritized. The other challenge is misconceptions. Sometimes when you talk about these bills, people think that maybe civil society, you're pushing for foreign things. These are foreign things. These are Western things. But the truth is, we need order in our families. We need order we need a law, domestic law, to address some of these issues that face us in daily basis. You have a sister, you have an aunt, you have a son, you have an uncle who have a family, and they may get into issues and needs this to do. The last thing I want to say is that like some people are, like she said, sensitivity around these bills coming, like issues of marital rape. Some men are saying, marital rape, so we are going to be taken to prison because of when I went to my madam and she refuses. If a woman refuses to give me conjugal rights, and then am I going to be dragged to court because it will be called marital rape? You know, some people start having misconceptions around this, and then issues of polygamous marriage. They say, these bills are going to stop men from marrying more than one woman. But we are saying no, these are not the things that the law will look into. We're looking at, if you have two wives and you are having an issue in that marriage of two, how are you going to handle issues of rights, the matrimonial rights, the custody of children, and even how can making sure that the conjugal rights. There's some men or people say that in the workshops we have, they say if you marry too many wives, and then the other woman is just left there, no conjugal rights, no what, those. So there are a lot of misconceptions around there. That's why we are saying that the public need to participate in the processes. When the anti-GBV bill reaches the parliament, we need to participate. And
the topic is verse, and the timing is really against us, all of us. And I know some listeners, they wanted to come in. Whoever is lucky, please go straight to your topic. With your question. happy dad. طوال خش في السؤال بداية happy dad.
ما سؤال بس أنا كنت حابب أقول المعرفة الجميل، بس لو كان عملتوه بحدث اللغة كان بكون أحسن، لأنه ده ماجورتي يعني ساترات بتبدين تجيبه وبعدين الأرياف مو فاهمين الكلام كده أحسن. فأنا أتمنى المرة الجاية أقول عشان الناس تفهم ذاته.
كويس. تمام. Hello, iRadio. Árabe está coño. iRadio.
Wallahi ikatu ingilizia kwa studio maro na suwe
Mama Maria.
ايوه
انجليزي شغال سريع كده. عندنا 3 نفر في استوديو وفضل لنا دقائق بسيط اسال سؤال كده في الموضوع.
ايوه لا فضل دقائق بسيط بعدين انا بسلم يقول كل ده اسمه سالم
تمام.
يلا جوانا تايوان في مره جايه كلي يكون بعربي عشان بيكون بفاهم كاننا ما بفاهم انجليزي لكن كلام ده انا عايز مفيد الكلام ده بيكون مثال يعني بنفسه عشان ناس كان عنده مشكله بيروح للناس اللي هم المسلمين ده بيكون مثال
كويس. تمام. شكرا. اي راديو.
الو. معكم
سايمون اتفضل من حي سمنري.
تحيه لك، تحيه لضيف الاستوديو. انا عندي سؤال. انا بتكلم في جندا بيس اساسا كلام ده كويس، لكن انا عندي سؤال واحد. ساعات مساوين جندا بيس في اتجاه واحد هم ما كلام فيه. انت شفت اصلا مساوين دي قاعده تنقام قاعدين مليان ناس رجال في ايدهم هم المدررين. بالنسبه لشنو تشوف اصلا مره لجاي رجال جاي يعرفوا مره تلقى ناس بيلموا كثير يعني مال هي زول بنادي مال على راسه اشياء تذكر في مره له بنادي بطلع في الشارع بالنسبه لعيال سعيده المفروض هم برضه يكون دونين فيه لانه ما ممكن مره ولا بيت لقال جاي يعرفها لا يا ناس بيجي باقوا هي زول دير فروج يجوز من جنب بيت فايلز برضه. شكرا
كثير. We are left with few minutes. Can you comment on this? Yes.
I think let me comment on the last caller. We all feel hurt when we see women carrying children on the streets of Juba and they are begging. And that is why when we are talking about enacting and prioritizing the rights of women in South Sudan by enacting these laws, Yeah? We are speaking that because then we will have something tangible that we will use to speak or to protect these women. Something that is real, he has said. When they are collecting bride price, that will go hila kulu. All the villages will come for the bride price. And people will be dancing, people will be
feasting on the occasion.
And then when we speak about the causes of such things, one of them is the polygamous marriages. By the way, one of the greatest impact of polygamous marriages is that usually women and children are sent on the streets, because then it has a lot. You the same man, one man, I don't think you can satisfy a couple of women. Yeah, and I'm not sure whether you can do it equal to all of them, but rather you're going to create fitna among these women so that you can continue existing. Before you know, a woman is sent to the streets. Maybe a man has died. The family that ate the bride price is driving this woman away from that one property. Like for example, among some of our beneficiaries, I have come across this beneficiary whose husband died in an accident. And the family says, because this woman is not a Muslim and the man was Muslim, even if she has children, she has nothing to benefit from this family. So she's sent on the streets. Yeah? And
I hope that the bill also addresses those issues of Muslim and Christianity.
Yes, everything is put in together. We are putting everything, Muslims and Christians, in one bill.
In one bill, okay. It should not be like the one of Sudan. We have been suffering.
I just want to comment. Lenna the ministry inna yan inna madmarat giligo yala woduru ketir mikin families zatu ma bayenu yal tomon ko ya madelle so ita bayenu jena bija fi mal kida au woduru fi share mikin rafeti sukan akil wala shunu so mi usbal fat inna digo yalit nin badmarat yal ketir woduru yan mon bijale inna bifeti su families tomon so they kaman there are issues al geha silasa fi junub Sudan ita bayinu fi bet uma zata abu mafe uma mikin fi suk gite bi hajato nak mikin kaman uma zato biga kalas indu mental health issues mikin ogasrub merisa ketir abu gasrub merisa ketir yal sibu fi bet akil mafi mederesa mafi yala tabayen yal biga kalas ferteku fi hella umonzatu mabarof rights to monze yal so de hajatana algi hasil ketir marat ini also another one so the last caller that women are also custodians of harmful cultures, by the way. Let's not overlook that. Sometimes we've seen women forcing their girls to get married. Because, at that tender age. But also, when the bill addresses all those kind of people, we are not saying that men are the perpetrators at the end of the day, but we have also women that are patriarchal in nature, and they also perpetuate some of the cases in our community.
Kaunda, in 22nd, when do we expect this process to reach the parliament, so that we also push from here?
That question is not for me. It's for the Ministry of Gender and Ministry of Justice. But like I said, we will try to reach out to them and one time bring them here also to update the public on the processes.
Okay.
But what I want to say that as Amalna South Sudan, we are working with more than 12 coalitions, networks, and forums together. And we have last 2 weeks ago, we had a workshop where we brought more than 12 coalitions, networks, and forums together, and we came with a communique. So we will be disseminating that communique to the stakeholders to ask them to speed up the process.
Tamam, shukran jazilan, and thank you so much for being with us here in the dawn this morning. My thanks go to Darlington Moses behind the social media, and all the listeners that have been contributing and being awake with us since morning. I've been your host, Michael.